Your projects have been selected for the Connections Through Culture grants for Indonesia. Connections Through Culture is a British Council program, and as you all might already know, British Council is an international organization from the UK that builds connections, understanding, and trust between people in the UK and other countries through arts and culture education and the English language. So this session today is for current grantees of Connections Through Culture, or we call this program CTC. We'll be going through what CTC is all about in the next few slides, and we will also, I think this whole presentation will take about maybe 15 to 20 minutes. You'll be able to ask questions in the chat if you have any, or you can also wait until later. So when we have a special Q&A session, then you can also pose any of the questions that you have then. As you might already know, CTC is a regional grant for residents of the UK and Southeast Asia to create further international connections. The program in Southeast Asia has been running since 2019, while the China program, we also ran a CTC program in China, that had been running since 2006. So the grants itself were initially for mobility, but then in 2020, we changed that program focus to be online grants supporting online collaboration projects. Next slide. Right, so apologies, we have actually not announced the winners of the grants yet, but we will post names very soon on our website. We are planning to do this in the first week of February. So we're just waiting for some final details. And if you are interested, you can monitor our website. We will be posting it on our regional site as well as our country site, and as well as on our Instagram. So if you're on Instagram and you haven't followed us, please do. It's at ID British Arts, and we'll be talking more about that later. So throughout this presentation and throughout the whole program, you'll be seeing a lot of different terms. These are just some of the terms that we'll be using interchangeably and often. So for instance, when we talk about grants or project, this is basically your whole grant. When we talk about activities, these are all the scheduled events or online talks, meetings, or whatever that is used to maybe build up into your project. When we talk about core team, this is basically you as the lead grantee or the lead applicant, but also including your counterparts and your regular teammates or whoever might be working on this project. When we talk about participants, for some of you, this will be people who are working on the ground with you on the project. So it could be, this will be people who will be working on the ground with other stakeholders. So for instance, this could be your audience for online talks or gatherings, or it would be other people that, for instance, artists that you commission, or speakers or guests that you plan to invite, or might even include people like third-party suppliers. Next. So you have received a grant from the British Council to manage your own projects, but I'd like to explain about how our role as the British Council team will be in your projects. The Indonesian team will be your first contact if there are any particular questions or concerns. We are here mostly to help facilitate or support your projects. So while you are leading the full management and delivery of your project, we can still help to kind of assist in some of the things, such as, for instance, if you need help to advertise any events or announcements or public calls, we can do that. We can also help in recommending other contacts in the sector, in the network, but we'll also be actively and proactively asking for some information from you. So for instance, we want to share your stories as you go along with the project, then we can maybe share it further to the public. And then we'll also collect reports and other requirements at the end of the project. So before I get into more detail about what type of reports we might need from you, I would like to introduce the team that's working on the Culture Connects Us program. Connections Through Culture program. And so I'm going to ask the team members if you could maybe turn on your videos for a while. So we've got Lavina, Randall, Ola, So I'll introduce you one by one, if that's okay. First, we have Randall, who is our regional focal point.
Hi, good evening. Good evening.
There you go. See? Okay. And so Randall is our lead program manager for Connections to Culture. His role as the focal point is for the region. So he's basically coordinating the whole regional Connections to Culture program. And he works across all of the other countries in the region that has this grant. So that means not just Indonesia, but also Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, and Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right? I'm not missing anyone. So Randall will be here with us for the whole session, and he'll also be able to answer any of your questions. And then now we are coming to Team Indonesia. As I mentioned, we'll be the first contact if you have any particular questions or concerns with your project. I think you already know me because I've already introduced myself in the beginning. But there is also Levina, who is our program manager for CTC and who can facilitate if there's any particular inquiries related to, like, for instance, project delivery, partnership, or content. Hi, Levina.
Hi. Hi, I'm Levina, and you can call me Lev. Hello.
All right. Thank you, Lev. And then next, we also have Ola. Ola is our program officer. Some of you might have already been in contact with her with your contracts, with your invoices. So if there's anything related to administration that you need, like, for instance, letters or other documents, Ola is your girl. So Ola, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Nice to meet you all.
All right, thank you, Ola. And then lastly, we have Anissa. So Anissa is our program officer who's leading mostly on our social media and communications. She'll be collecting some of your stories and posting them on our social media channels. Or, you know, she's also going to be the one who will be helping to promote some of your activities or events online. So Anissa, can you turn on your video and say hi?
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet everyone. Perhaps after this, I might be getting back to you and talk further about the communication plan. Thanks.
All right. So thanks, everyone. You can turn off your videos if you want after this. So can we go to the next slide? So back to this, there are some of the things that we actually need from you quite soon when we're talking about reports and stories. So one of the things that we have right now is a pre-project survey, and we do need your help to complete this survey quite soon. You could access the survey on the submittable platform, but it looks like this. I don't know if Lavina, you can help share what it looks like, or if someone can share the link in the chat. But since all of you have already submitted your proposals through the submittable platform, I think you would still be able to access it. So we'll just wait for a moment until it pops up. Yeah, there we go. So this is the pre-project survey, which we would really need your help to fill in and complete. This is what it looks like. You can, as I mentioned, you can access it from the submittable platform. We do need it before the deadline, which is next week on the 5th of February. So hopefully it wouldn't be too difficult for you. If there's any issues, please let us know. But hopefully it's mostly multiple choice, so you can already just like tick in the boxes and stuff. Okay, so let's just, all right, great, thanks. Next. So some of you might already have projects that are happening very soon, but most projects will also run until the end of June 2021. Next. But we do definitely need your help in monitoring your own grants closely. As you might be able to see, we have about 13 grantees for CTC in Indonesia. So this is actually the largest amount of grantees in the region. So it might be quite challenging for our team to keep track of every and all activities happening within your projects. Hence, I think it would be really, really useful and if you could actually just keep us up to date by proactively updating us on your progress and on your activities. We would love to have regular catch-ups with you, or whenever you have time, once in a while is also fine, so that in case there might be some changes to your programs, we'll be able to give you proper support for it. We'll ask you to also record some data for us. So for instance, record number of attendance of your core team, or collecting stories about your programs. In terms of stories itself, it's actually a chance for us to be able to also promote it to a wider audience through our channels. Next. So one of the things that we'll be doing as part of the monitoring part is we'll be sending emails asking for updates of your activities. So some of the questions that these emails will include are like, are you on time? Are you delayed with your activity this month? Or do you actually have anything planned happening this month? Is there any particular stories that you might want to share? Or are you actually, finished with your project? So we'll try to kind of make it into a regular thing where we email you maybe every month, but we understand that perhaps you might not have updates every single month. But even as long as there's perhaps like regular information or regular updates from your side, that would be super, super helpful. In addition to those updates, we'll also, as I mentioned, ask for attendance lists of your core team and invited guests or the participants of your programs. So one of the important timelines that for us, for the British Council, is every quarter. So end of March, end of June, and end of September, we might be asking for these attendance lists. And why, you might ask, do we need these information for? For us, it's really important because it helps feed into the British Council's monitoring and evaluation reports. And if we can show good impact from this program and from this grant, then that actually hopefully allows us to continue having these type of grants available for the next period, or for more artists or more organizations like yourself. Next. So on the monitoring itself, we'll be preparing a monitoring form for grantees to fill in all the information that I mentioned. So for instance, the attendance or your activities. We will share that form once it's ready, but just keep that in mind. You can always, you could always just fill it in as regularly as you can, but perhaps once the form is ready, you can perhaps see what's the best way for you to maybe fill in this form and keep us updated. Next. So besides stories, we also just need to make sure that everyone involved in your project has consented to be a part of it. As a reminder, when you had received your grant from us, you have also consented to us to use your names, the photos and videos for the purpose of promoting the CTC program. However, in some of your own projects, you might have involvement of particular groups of people that might need what we call safeguarding. So for instance, maybe some of the projects involve children, kids, or adults at risk. You can have a conversation with our team if you feel that you might need further advice on how to manage that. But in most cases, you're basically free to develop your own consent forms. Although at the end of the day, we might be asking for confirmation just to check that you are, responsible over the participants' welfares, either online or face-to-face activities. Next. So as I mentioned, we'll be asking for sharing of stories or updates as you go along with your grants. We'll be collecting this hopefully on a regular basis to be used for British Council's internal and external communications. So for instance, through our corporate website, social media channels, etc. If you're not very sure about what kind of stories to submit to us, here are some examples. So you could send us like screenshots, photos, videos, of course, with their credits. Sound clips or anything else that you might think would be beneficial, behind the scenes, quotes, reflections. But if you might want to have a bit of a conversation about this as well, I've recently introduced Anissa from our team. She could also help advise you in terms of shaping the stories, or if there's something in particular that we might need from you to make it into a story for our comms channels. So Anissa has actually prepared a document. We'll be sharing that and circulating that very soon through email. Next. So continuing on to communications. If you have particular activities that you want to share or promote and maybe like design a poster around, it would be quite challenging for us to control all of the designs. So grantees are definitely free to design their own posters or collaterals. You don't really need to ask us to sign off, as long as you just keep us aware that you'll be doing this. In terms of how you use our logo, we will share the files as well as the guidance. And we can give you some access to our brand hub in case you need things like fonts or guidance on color schemes and things like that. We could also maybe do an orientation session specifically on brand if it's needed, but this is of course optional. Next. So although your posters and however you want to design your collaterals will be free for you to manage, this is how we would perhaps share the stories that we shape, or based on the images or the text or whatever that you share to us. This is the kind of color scheme and brand guideline that the British Council has put for the Connections Through Culture grants. So in case you might see some collaterals through our own website or our own social media accounts, this is just an example of how we might be able to portray it. Next. Specifically on logos, we'll be sharing you more of the guidelines later, but this is just a very quick overview of what you might be expected to do. So you're free to use our logo, but we would really appreciate it if you could use the descriptor logo with a text that says supported by British Council. And if, for instance, you aren't able to use the logo in some of your promotional materials, you can also use a text which is just saying supported by the Connections Through Culture program of the British Council. And if you have any social media posts, you could use the hashtag British Council CTC or hashtag Culture Connects Us. So we regularly check those hashtags. So in case you forgot to tag us or anything, we can just immediately regram or retweet once we see them under that hashtag. Next. Yes, so this is just maybe some questions that we'll be probing in case we need stories or we want to share some of your stories. This is just probably like an FYI for you, and in case if it's helpful for you to maybe share some information about how the project is going. Next. So after comms, we're going back to the project details. So in case you might have any changes to your project, please do make sure that you review and read the contract again, because perhaps there will be a lot of information there that is really useful. But as a guideline, minor changes are expected. So, just please keep us updated about them. Your contract also has a change control clause, which is our way of agreeing to changes. But if, let's say, for any particular reason, you cannot move forward with the grant, then we might need to terminate the contract. And what will happen is that we will have a discussion between the British Council team in Indonesia and the regional team. And most likely, we will issue a termination letter and ask you to return the funds of the grant. Next. Okay, so we're almost nearing the end of the slides, but I'd like to take this time to introduce you to your batchmates. So as I mentioned, we have 13 grantees for this batch for Indonesia, and we want to encourage people to network or exchange contact details from each other. That is, if you consent to it. It might be really helpful to get to know each other and perhaps even learn from each other's projects. And who knows, maybe it could also lead to future collaborations as well. So maybe I'll ask my colleague Randall if he could roll call, and maybe the grantees can say a quick hello, just say like, mention your name, your organization, where you're from, and maybe who your counterpart is.
Hi again, everyone. So I'll just read the name. So it would be Butong Idar with the Jogja Disability Arts, and your counterpart. So if you could just also say hi. Is Butong here?
Hello, hi.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, sir. I hope you're well. So, and then we have Sarah Archdeacon of the Corali Dance Company. Are you here? Oh, there you see Mr. Butong. Hello.
Hi.
And now we have Sarah. And may I know again, Sarah, who is your counterpart in the
KK.
Can you please repeat that?
KK Art of Dance.
Okay. Hi. Good morning there. I hope you're well. And then we have Edriman.
Hey, hello. Hey, I don't know if you can hear or can you hear or see me? Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Ed. Good morning or good evening. Where are you now?
I'm in Brighton, UK. So it's yeah, it's early afternoon here.
Okay. And then next we have Lily.
Hi everyone. Hello from Melbourne. It's
Hello.
nearly 12 a.m. now.
Yeah, it's midnight. So thanks for having time. We can share details of your contracts. Sorry, of your project later. And then we have Ian of Flatpack Festival. Are you here?
Or I think Ian's counterpart might be here from Indonesia.
Hello.
Okay, then let's move to Emma Franklin. Okay. If they're not present, then Joshua Bentovim of Impermanence. How are you?
Good, thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, both of you. May you both introduce yourselves, if that's okay.
Great. Hi, I'm Rosanna Anderson.
And I'm Josh Bentovim, and yeah, we're directors of Impermanence, a dance company in the UK.
And we're working with Hiro and Irfan, who are also on this call.
Okay, thank you very much. And then we move to Robbie Thompson.
Hello.
Hi, Robbie. Good morning. And who are you working with in Indonesia?
I'm working with Waft Lab, who are out of Surabaya.
Surabaya. So this is the, I think, the sound project, is it?
Yeah, it's like sound, looking at megalithic sites and technology, and yeah, comparing, yeah, making some online improvised music stuff as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robbie. And then Liam of No Bounds Festival.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, I'm the director of No Bounds Festival from Sheffield, UK. I'm working with Walk the Rock from Yes No Wave, and we're doing a collaboration where we're bringing artists representing both our organisations together for an exchange that will end up with a new piece of music and a new, hopefully, a visual and piece of music that will then be broadcast later on in the year during the project. So really looking forward to it. So we're working with Gabba Modus Operandi and Nikizi.
Wow. Okay. Thanks, Liam. And then Florence.
Cool.
Thanks, Liam.
Thank you.
How about Flo? How are you, Flo? Florence? Oops. I think she's also not here. And then let's move on then to Jeannie. Or anyone from the foundation.
I think I saw someone from PSBK earlier.
Yep.
Septi? Is anyone there? I see their names, but I don't know, maybe they might have mic issues.
Okay. Then Gaia of Intersastra, Indonesia. Or UK, how are you?
Hello, good evening. My name is Gaia from Intersastra. I'm based in Jakarta. I'm working with three counterparts. One is Eliza, an Indonesian artist based in Norway. I will be working with the Khairani Baraka, artist, activist, and scholar based in the UK. And also we will be working with Suara, which is a trans women community based in Jakarta. Thank you.
Thank you. For more EDI projects or inclusive projects, yes. And then lastly, we would have Mariska Febriani of Ballet Indonesia. Good evening.
Hello, this is Reynold. Mariska cannot be here. She's teaching right now. So,
teaching.
yeah, she's still teaching. So we are working with Mark Brew Dance Company to create like a dance film. So we plan to record both in Indonesia and in UK, wherever Mark Brew.
Thanks, Reynold.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, as mentioned by Kemi earlier, you could actually share contacts as long as you give consent to sharing your contacts, and perhaps maybe have a catch up every month. If it depends on how you agreed this with your with the country arts team of the British Council. So thanks everyone, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randall, for doing the roll call, and it's really great to see and hear from some of you. I hope that was useful, and hopefully, you guys can network some more after this. So could we go to the next slide? And I swear this is the last two slides. So in terms of once you kind of go through the project, and then when you actually close the project, there will also be another post-project survey that we would be asking you to submit. So this information, we'll be shaping it as we go, and we'll be able to maybe share more information with you in the next few weeks. But please just bear in mind that once your project closes or once your project ended, we would really like it if you could fill in and complete this post-project survey. So the deadline is latest 2 weeks after your project ends, but taking note that most of the projects for CTC will be ending in June this year. Right, next. Okay, so this is definitely the last slide. These are just some of the summaries and key moments that you might need to remember. So first and foremost, the most urgent one is the pre-project survey, and deadline is next week on the 5th of February. You will also be filling in some monitoring forms, and this is something that we will remind and share with you every month. You can also complete it in advance of each activity, or you can do it whichever way that you feel is more convenient for you. And then there's the post-project survey, latest 2 weeks after your project ends. So don't forget to compile updates and stories to share with us. More guidelines about that will be coming up soon. If you have any doubts or concerns, please let us know, get in touch. And lastly, enjoy and collaborate through your CTC projects. And we're really, really looking forward to seeing your collaborations. Right, so thank you so much. If you have any further questions, you can get in touch with us. This is the contact details of the Indonesia team. You could also still copy in Randall at the CTC Focal Point email. And we look forward to hearing from you. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So if you have any particular questions, Randall and I, as well as Lavina and Ola, are here to answer them. You can pop them through the chat, or you could raise your hand and maybe ask the question directly if you'd wish. Any questions?
All seems pretty clear to me.
Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, actually, we can also leave it open for more introductions. Oh, I see a hand up. Gaia, would you like to ask your question? You can unmute yourself.
Sure. Yes, my question is, how are you planning on sharing our contact details with the other participants? Will it be through email?
Perhaps Randall can also give some updates on this, but this is basically, if you consent to it, we can share it through email, or we could create like a mailing list as well. So that way it might be easier for us to share updates.
Yep, definitely. So, or if anyone would want to drop their emails right now on the chat thread, I know some of you are not keen on using Teams, but we actually have chat function on this Teams. So if you want to drop your name and let anyone pick it up from your cohort, then I think it's okay. But definitely we'll have I mean, the Indonesia Arts team can create a mailing list. Is that okay, Gaia?
Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I think Sarah's hand was up next.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, do the counterparts need to sign and fill in the pre-project survey as well?
Good question. Randall, do you want to take this?
No, it would be the, thanks Sarah for the question. It would be the one who actually, because you all applied as a lead grantee, so it would be the lead grantee who would be using the account you used for the submittable. I hope that's okay, because I know that some of you actually, the counterparts were the ones who applied on behalf of the group. So please contact your counterparts or the one who proposed your application form. So that would be just one email per contract or grant, if that is okay. Thank you,
That
Sarah.
makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
Yep. Yoko Ono in the background.
She's with us all.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions?
There's a hand up from Liam.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I meant to lower it. Sarah's just actually asked the question I was going to ask, so I'm all good now with that. I've just shared my contact details as well. I'd love to connect with other people. That's all good for me. So yeah, that's my question is answered. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Or like I said, we could actually open it up for more introductions if anybody wants to explain or share about their projects in more detail?
Cam, I think Jeannie is here. Just got admitted just now.
Oh, okay.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Jeannie. Do you want to say hi and introduce yourself? I think we lost her again.
Yeah, and well, if everyone would want to turn their videos on right now, and then we'll just do another round of introductions. Would that be okay with everyone? Yeah. Turn your cameras on.
So who would like to go first?
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Jeannie, finally.
Great. Finally, so sorry. My laptop and the whole webcam thing kind of screw things up. So thank you much. Hello, everyone. Citypark from Padepokan Seni Bagong Kusudiarjo, based in Yogyakarta. And we're very pleased to be collaborate with the Paper Birds, a theater company who's going to facilitate a very interesting program called the School Global Citizen Project. And we will be bringing a work program to help facilitate the kind of creative curriculum that they're and we hope to be working with the Jogja Deaf Arts community, as well as trying to reach out with other communities who, what was the best way that they say that, a little bit more really it's about trying not to see and differentiate with one another, but to have a conversation of empathy and how this conversation can bring everyone together and be on the same together and somehow go beyond and beyond the boundaries of language and differences. And or less it, but we have other people on the PSB team. Ruri and Isti has also joined us on this meeting. And I want to just say hi to other friends who are also part of the batch, and looking forward to sharing with everyone further. So thank you so much for your patience. Sorry about the technical delay.
That's okay. That's part of what we're trying to conquer. You know, delays. Your programs were chosen not also because of, if you remember the question of innovation, and innovation is not actually just with technology or how we conceive high technology or low technology. So, yep. So who wants to go next?
Okay, I think I can introduce my project. Hi everyone. Sorry, I need to move a bit here. Trying to find a proper light. So my name is Lily from Makassar International Writers Festival. But now I'm based in Melbourne because the pandemic and the lockdown here, so we're not allowed to go back to Indonesia. Otherwise, because my family is all here. So the project called Silence 2020, and our counterpart is the LAF in Wales. So the idea of the project is to connect the two countries through a project called Silence 2020. And we're going to work with a deaf community in both countries. So for us at Makassar International Writers Festival, we've been working with the deaf community, or we call in Bahasa Indonesia as Teman Tuli, for 3 years now. So they actually have become the friend of the festival since 2017, and we are trying to become more inclusive festival since then. So this is actually for the first time we are thinking to develop a program with them, and the project itself is going to connect these two deaf communities in UK and Indonesia, and we facilitate both communities to document their stories and experiences in the time of pandemics. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Lily. Anyone wants to go next? Hi,
I'll
Ed.
go
Go
next.
ahead. Yep.
Hey,
Go ahead.
how's it going? So, hey, I'm Ed. I'm a musician, and I'm going to be working with two Indonesian artists. We've got Ninda Felina, who's a DJ, and Preproject Me, which is like a music collective. Neither of them have been able to make it today, but I'm sure they send their regards. And our project is based around field recordings. So Ninda and Prabhumi actually previously worked on a project which explored the loss of the natural environment in Indonesia through field recordings of sounds that that were in danger of being lost forever, and turning them into like a musical work. And so for this project, we're kind of it's sort of it's like a follow-on from that essentially, but this time we're drawing comparisons between the environmental impact of developers in Indonesia with the environmental impact of developers here in the UK, because we have currently, according to the Woodland Trust, we have over 1,200 ancient woodlands here in the UK, which are currently at imminent threat from developers. So I'm going to be, lockdown permitting, traveling around making field recordings in some of the temperate rainforest that we have here in the UK. Not a lot of people realise we actually have temperate rainforests in the UK as well. So whenever lockdown allows, I'm going to be making field recordings here. My Indonesian counterparts are going to be making some more field recordings over in the rainforest in Indonesia, and we'll be collaborating to create a 5-track body of music out of those, and also releasing the stems so that people can remix and get involved themselves. So so that's me. Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Ed, for sharing your project. Anybody else? Or I might just call out people's names, because I think after Ed's explanation about his project, I think perhaps it might be good for Josh and Rosanna to explain about your project, because I think there's going to be quite a lot of interlinks between the themes. If Josh and Rosie are still on the line.
Yes. Hello, Cami. Hi. Can you hear us? Great. Yeah, it's so interesting to hear other people's projects. I'm really glad we're getting this chance to get a broader sense of what's happening with connections through culture. We're going to be working with Irfan, who's a choreographer based in Jakarta, and Heru, who's a writer. And we're looking at the themes of arrival and looking at tin mining in different places. So Irfan has been researching this in, what's the island called? In where his hometown, and researching about that. And Hiro has been sharing written text with us to look at how we respond to these different materials, and then look at the experience here in England and how the themes of immigration and arrival and leaving are sort of all interconnecting. So we're going to be spending an online residency looking at these things and responding in our different mediums. So we're dancers and choreographers. Irfan is also a choreographer and dancer, and Hiro is a poet and writer.
Yeah, that's a good summary, I think. And we're looking to produce a sort of a zine with the outcomes, and then also leave open some space to maybe develop that into a bigger production at some point in the future for stage or for screen. But if Hiru or Irfan are still online, maybe they could fill in some gaps of what we've said if they'd like to. Or maybe another time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe another time then. Anyone else? We've got 10 minutes left on this call, so a good chance to maybe pitch your project.
I'll go if you want.
Sure, go ahead, Liam.
Hi, yes. So yeah, I'm Liam OShea from No Bounds Festival, and what our project between an Indonesian label on the more experimental side of things. We're doing a series of online residencies. Basically, we're going to be exploring each other's culture through music and art in very broad sense of the word. But what we're intending that to mean is I'm bringing an artist representing No Bounds Festival, which is the UK Sheffield-based experimental music, art and technology festival that I run. That individual is Nikisi. She's an experimental Belgian Congolese female person of color who's a really interesting artist in the UK that I've been working with, and I've booked her at No Bounds Festival before, and I think her perspective on UK culture, being of the heritage that she's from, is really unique and interesting. And what we're wanting to do is pair Nikisi with Gabba Modus Operandi, who are an Indonesian Gabba outfit, who are really, really interesting and cool, who I've seen many times before, and I've been trying to book for my festival. It hasn't quite happened yet, but this has turned out to be an amazing opportunity to do something more in depth than I was ever even planning to be able to do. And so we're going to put them together in an exchange and kind of let them explore as artists each other's culture and their backgrounds, and let that feed into then a little program of what they will then deliver. So there'll be a series of online talks. They'll explore each other's practice and culture, and then develop a musical project. Ideally, what we're trying to do is an AV project, actually, that will then broadcast as an online performance, say like May sort of time. Hopefully with a legacy of a release on Yes No Wave of the actual music. And myself and Wok at the same time will be involved in these online talks, and we will be exploring each other's curatorial practice. Me's a festival director in the UK, and Wok, he's also part of New Sonic, which is an amazing festival, like an Indonesian festival, co-supported by Goethe Institute, links to CTM and things like that. So the programming that we're both involved in is similar. There's
No, I think we lost Liam. I think his screen froze. All right, so I think we'll probably move on to someone else. Hopefully we'll get Liam back at some point. I think we had
got a few coming in.
Yeah, I've got a few hands up. Is it okay if I go for Nano Warsono first, and then Sarah, you can go ahead, and then after that Butong?
Okay, thank you, Camellia. Me and Butong is the same. We are from GDA. GDA is Jogja Disability Arts. We are a community based in visual arts, but mostly of our member of community is disability people. So we make program for this project. Is a mural program, and finally we got our partner, our consortium in UK. The name of the community is Disability Mural UK based on Bristol. And we already contact with them and we agreed to make this project. Even this still in the pandemic situation, we try to make a plan that it's still possible to do in 2 cities between Yogyakarta and Bristol, or maybe in other city in London or Sheffield or something. Cardiff, yeah, Cardiff City. We already contact with them, and we have a title of this project is related with this situation. In Indonesia is netas, and in English is incubate. That means we will reborn again after we had this pandemic, and we will become a new something like a new something different before this situation, I think. And we will start this program as soon as possible. And we already contact with many artists, disability artists in Indonesia. We already call like 8 artists from Indonesia, from the different city and also from different island, and maybe 3 or 4 artists from UK in Bristol with our counterparts, UK Disability Mural. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Mas Nano and Mas Butong. Sarah, would you like to go next? And then after that, we can have Robbie.
Thank you. And really great to hear about everybody's project. Coralie will be exploring accessible digital dance toolkits with Gigi Art of Dance, exchanging prompts and instructions with each other to create new dance works.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Robbie, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Great to hear about all your projects. The work that myself and my collaborator here in the UK, Alicia Matthews, and our counterparts in Indonesia, Waft Lab, are going to make is a project called Megalith Teleport International, which is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek title, but it's a few parts to this. So we're myself and Alicia are based on the Isle of Lewis in Scotland, and Waft Lab, Twist and Helmi, who are the kind of lead artists from that. They're a collective based in Surabaya, and I guess both our practices are all somewhat related to looking at sound, music and technology, but in relation to community practice as well. So within this particular project, we are looking at the kind of local megalithic traditions of looking at kind of archaeological sites and what they kind of maybe meant in terms of communities like thousands of years ago, and what their kind of social function may or may not have been. It's a bit of a speculative project. Like a lot of it's we're going to definitely go on some pretty weird tangents with, and kind of working with like low and high technologies to create some new sound works, some online collaborations, and also be archiving it all and releasing like a lot of the source code that we're going to be creating for some of these self-made instruments and stuff like this as well. So hopefully like other people can also start like doing similar projects around their own megalithic sites too, and I guess like working in our local communities and doing some workshops as well. So some like instrument building and stuff like this, and also collecting folk traditions and yeah, that's so it's a bit of going to be an online archive, and there's going to be some performances coming up at some point as well. So yeah, that's enough of a ramble from me. Cheers.
Nice one.
Thank you, Robbie. That's great. So I we're kind of nearing the end of our call already. I think some of you might have to leave quite soon. There's still some show of hands, but I don't know if it's an old hand or a new hand. And I think we have Liam back. So I don't know, Liam, if you might want to finish your spiel, because we kind of lost you in the last bit.
Oh God, where did you lose me in my spiel? Peddling my ways.
I think you were talking about Gabber, modus operandi, and you know, how you kind of really wanted to book them, but then this opportunity just came up, and
yeah, and it allowed me to, it allowed me to expand upon that greatly, and develop something a lot more meaningful and a collaboration that's deeper than I would have originally been able to do. And then I was finishing with myself and Wok, as both as curators. We're going to be exploring each other's work together. So, and that was the only thing. I just finished off by saying that there was a kind of curatorial collaboration between us as well. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So I don't know if anybody still wants to go on, but we'll definitely start planning maybe more of these sharing sessions, because I think it's actually quite useful to hear from some of you about the progress of your projects, and if there might be any particular things that you could kind of exchange about. But first of all, thank you so much for your time. I know it might be quite late for some of you, or it might be still quite early for some of you. And it's really great that we have this opportunity to not just give an introduction to the CTC program, but also to each other. So congratulations once again. If you need any particular support or help, the British Council Indonesia team and Randall is here, and you know where to find us. But in the meantime, please be safe, take care, and enjoy your collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.